Welcome to another unboxing, or rather an unbagging video from theplayersaid.com. My name is Grant. Today I received in the mail my brand new copy, hot off the presses, copy of Volume 6 in the Battles of the Old Northwest series from High Flying Dice Games, called A Most Resolute Action, Fort Meigs, 1813. The game is designed, and here's the kind of cover. The game is designed by Paul Rohrbaugh. And this is a poly bag game. As you can see, there's the plastic bag there. This is a game that's going to cost you, I want to say it's $16.95. You can then, I think, drop $8 on the mounted counters. I'll show you those in a minute because I did choose that option because they're just so much nicer. If you don't, you'll get a cut counters, but then you have to mount them and do something to make them a little thicker to be used on the board. So this is a hex and counter war game that is kind of card driven or card activated in some ways. Definitely a small scale, more tactical game. And as I mentioned, this was volume 6 in this series. The Battles of the Old Northwest series deals with basically Indian, Native American battles with the United States Army starting in around 1790. And then going through, this one is set during the War of 1812. So battles that are kind of in that area. The Old Northwest is basically Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, that area. So really great little series, very much enjoy it. The art and the graphic design is done by a gentleman that you probably know well if you've watched our channel, Nils Johansson. Nils is a graphic design artist, and he has a very distinctive style about his efforts. Very clean, very nice looking, and done very well. So I mentioned that this is a polybag game. This is a cardstock sheet of paper that acts as the top cover. This will all come wrapped up in this nice tight little bag. So this is kind of a thicker card with nothing on the back. But that's the cover. I'll go ahead and flip that over. The first thing that approaches you, and this is actually new to the series, is a really handy dandy player aid. Very well done. I think that Nils put this together just to aid in the play of the system in the series. I believe they're also looking at kind of redoing the other 4 or 5 volumes that have been published and doing these kind of player aids just to help the game move along. But you can see this side is kind of the various checks that have to be made, surprise checks, mandated attacks, leader loss. Any leader that's stacked with a unit that's in combat, you have to roll a die. Low ammo check during a fire combat. Anytime you basically roll a 6, you're going to have to go low ammo. And the effect of that is your combat factor is reduced by 1. Very cool thematic element of this series and the games. This was black powder, muskets, some rifles, but out in the wilderness with rain, mud, sometimes they would misfire and you would be less effective in combat. You've also got morale. Morale is typically the way that you're going to win the game, by breaking and destroying units. And then you've got kind of the different victory points for eliminating units, leaders, taking various hexes, encampment hexes, and that's Native American Indian encampments occupied by the U.S. On the back side, you've got all your DRMs or die roll modifiers for the various types of combat. Fire combat, Fort Meigs fire combat, that's specifically your cannon or rifles up on the stockade walls. Retreat before assault. The Native American people can retreat before assaults. Assault attack, which is basically anything in close combat. And then your rally checks. So very handy dandy player aid that they have not had in the other games. And that has made it very, very much better. I'm very much looking forward to playing this game. The rules are kind of formatted in, I'm going to call this a pamphlet, right? Basically it's an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that has been printed in this kind of column style and then folded. Love the look of these, love the feel of them. They're easy to kind of maneuver through, although I haven't broken this one in yet. Got a nice index here on the front where you can look for the different rules. 20 pages. You have a random events table on the back. These are going to happen when certain cards are drawn. I think they're the jokers, because you're going to use a deck of face cards. You can also spend dollars to get a pre-made deck of cards, but I just use face cards. In fact, I kind of like using the face cards. I think it's kind of cool. You've got designer notes, some optional rules, how the different rally morale attacks work. Here is a unit ID and terrain chart in the middle of the book or pamphlet. You can see great looking units, great looking board. Love the units. I'll show you here in just a minute. Each of the Native American units have a silhouette and they're just gorgeous. Stacking limits, fords, how you have to cross them, kind of an introduction, the different OOBs, game turns and abbreviations, and a review of the components. So 20 pages. This is not an overly complex system. And now with that player aid, I think you're going to basically read the rules and you'll be able to play the game with that nice handy dandy player aid. So I mentioned that I ordered the mounted counters. They come like this in 5 different pre-sorted bags. There are units. Here you have units, Native American units, some artillery, and some of the militia units, I believe. And then you have more regular units with leaders for the United States. Oh, these are militia. I'm sorry. Some are regulars. They're kind of mixed. But basically, you have 2 bags of counters, so you can see there's maybe 20 counters to each side. You have some disrupted and routed markers, which lead to units being broken. Here are different administrative markers, your morale track markers, VP markers, morale for the natives, surprise markers. So those are less than interesting, but here's those low ammo counters that I mentioned to you. When you roll a 6 in combat, you're going to put one of these on and they drop your combat factors. I'm going to go ahead and open these little bags and I'm going to show you a couple of these units. Nils just does such a fantastic job illustrating these. So this is a Shawnee Warrior. They are double-sided units. Here's a Wyandotte Warrior. Look at the beautiful war paint, the feathers adorning their heads. You've got their combat factors there on the side. The 3, when they are reduced, they are going to become a 2. Here you have more Wyandotte. Here's a leader, Tecumseh, which was a great Indian leader of the time. Here you have a foot unit from the Americans, the 41st. You have a round marker. I'll probably organize these a little differently. Another Wyandotte Warrior. So it looks like it's Shawnee and Wyandotte. Here is artillery fire, some more. Here's a militia unit. But you can see they're just gorgeous. They're really well made, beautiful counters. And there's a bunch of them, right? Like I said, about 20 per side, give or take. Here are some more of the American units. I'll go ahead and open these. This bag's very small and hard to open. But here's some of the American units. You've got American leaders. This is Harrison, and I think it's William Henry Harrison, if I'm not mistaken, the eventual president of the United States from Indiana, who lived like 3 months in office and then died, I believe, of pneumonia. There's Miller. You've got some more regulars, some more militia. Like these are specifically Kentucky militia. There's Dudley, who's another leader. These are the Pittsburgh Blues militia. Here's some militia from Ohio, Peter County. So there's a lot of great historical elements in here. And I think Paul, the designer, is a history teacher and really loves to incorporate, I'm going to move this over, loves to incorporate those historical elements into the game. I'm going to move the poly bag out, and I'm going to move these pieces over, and then I'll get them back in the frame here in just a moment. So the board, and this is a bit unusual, but it has to do more with the size of the bag. This is a 2-part printed board on heavy cardstock. You can see there's an overlap, and I'll try to line that up. And you can line it up and probably put some light tape or putty, or even just put a plexi over top and you'll hold that down. But there you go. They line up very well designed to make it an appealing look and feel to the board itself. The board is absolutely stunning. You can see the woods, the forested hexes. There's somewhat of a 3D slant view here, which to me really lends a different feel to this battlefield. Here are those fords that are here. That's where you're going to have to cross. Native Americans are going to cross to try to come at Fort Meigs. And then here you have some of the artillery. These might be rally points here. You have a turn track down the side. And then over here on the right, this is kind of the general records track. It tracks your victory points and that kind of thing, as well as your morale. So this is turn track and then general records track. But you can see at the top, there's somewhat historical introduction. William Henry Harrison, United States, eliminated units box. Henry Proctor, eliminated units box. There you can see graphics by Nils Johansson and then designed by Paul Rohrbaugh. Very much looking forward to this game. It is not only beautiful, and if we can get this one played, this one will definitely appear in my beautiful boards of wargaming series that I very much enjoy doing. In fact, I have a couple of those scheduled right now. I've made some progress on them and am trying to get those out on the blog so that you can read those. This game's going to play in about 40 to 45 minutes, maybe an hour. It's probably an hour. We have played, I think this would be our 4th game that we've played, Kekionga, St. Clair's Folly, Tippecanoe, I think was the other one. But anyway, great little series. I'm so glad to see that they've come out with a new volume. I would like to see them continue these. There's enough battles kind of in that old Northwest area that they can do a couple of more. So hopefully they'll come out with some more. But there you have it. A Most Resolute Action, Fort Meigs, 1813 by Paul Rohrbaugh, published by High Flying Dice Games. If you're not aware of who High Flying Dice Games is, a very small kind of print-on-demand publisher whose games are baggies. They have some box games, but they'll typically you'll order them on their website, and within a week you'll have them. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you see what a great looking game it is. And we're going to give this one a play. So thanks for watching. I've been Grant for the Player's Aid.